Hello there guys, welcome to another of my live videos. So yesterday Manchester United beaten Tottenham Hotspur by 2 goals to 1 at Old Trafford. I've got to say, very surprised, reflecting on the result, and also I didn't expect that whatsoever. So I am very delighted with that. Um, Obviously, it is our fifth win now in the Premier League season. The victory does put us up to sixth in the league. We still do remain 8 points behind top four. But you've got to say now, reflecting on the result, you've got to say it has saved Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's managerial tenure at the football club, at least for this present time. Because I think if we had have lost the game, or maybe even drew the game, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer would have been gone by next week, because he has been under intense pressure at the football club. But I think now, with that win against Tottenham, you can say maybe the pressure has eased off him a little bit. But it's a game obviously now where we had to win anywhere, because obviously now prior to the game, we was winless in our last three games. But I did not expect us of course to win that game. But my overall analysis on it, I thought it was a fantastic performance by Manchester United. And Solskjaer give his overarching view on the game, and he actually said it's our best performance of the season. I thought everyone put a shift in. We pressed well, we created chances. Some that's something we've been struggling to do in the vast majority of our games this season. We've been struggling to create chances, and this has been an explanation where we haven't been scoring enough goals, where we haven't been ruthless enough in front of goal. But we did create a lot of chances yesterday. We had chances left, right, and centre. Rashford, could have had more than the 2 goals he scored. He could have had at least a hat trick. Rashford had hit the crossbar. Mason Greenwood had a decent chance in the first half, and Gazaniga, had to make quite a few decent saves for Tottenham in the first half and the second half. Lingard had quite a few decent opportunities. Daniel James had quite a few decent opportunities in the second half. So we could have actually won by more than two by more than 2 goals to 1. Basically, it should have basically been more than 2-1. But yeah, let's get on to the goals. So Marcus Rashford's first goal came after 6 minute. The 6 minute, it was a really good goal from Rashford, by the way. Good, lovely strike. Obviously, came off the post, and obviously, went in, and that was 1-0. Tottenham obviously got level in the 39th minute through Dele Alli. And then obviously early in the second half, we did get a penalty. Obviously, Sissoko brought down Marcus Rashford in the penalty box. I think it was a Stonewall penalty, if I'm going to be quite honest with you. And we got the penalty, and Rashford had converted the penalty. But I've got to credit Marcus Rashford, by the way. I think he has been in scintillating form. He has now scored 9 goals in his last 10 games. In all competitions, that is. I think he's been directly involved in 11 goals, and now in total for Man United, since he broke into the senior squad back in 2016, he has scored 57 goals in 190 appearances, so he's nearly made in total 200 appearances now for the football club. But Rashford is becoming more and more prolific, which is very good. And I did criticise Marcus Rashford, by the way, earlier on in the season, because his performances were not expected. Were not expected. Well, his performances were not at the standard, as we should expect from him and that. But I still said at that point, he's a long-term solution for Man United. Rashford, by the way, did play out on the flank yesterday. I'm surprised at that, because I thought, he actually would have played there centrally, but it was actually Mason Greenwood who played centrally, so he was actually fulfilling Anthony Martial's role, because obviously Anthony Martial didn't play because he is out with injuries. Anthony Martial, it did confirm before the game yesterday that Anthony Martial is struggling to overcome a muscular problem that he initially sustained in the 2-2 draw with Aston Villa. So there's also reports emerging out now saying that Martial is a doubt for the game against Man City and that. But yeah, credit Mason Greenwood. I thought he had a really good game. Um, you know, and I did say, the more he develops in that, I think, he will become a success at the football club. He's definitely one of the young upcoming players that will become a success. This is Mason Greenwood's. That was his first start, by the way, from the start in the Premier League. So it was good to see him play. I thought, McTominay as well had a really good game. I thought, he was absolutely fantastic. And I think, the return of McTominay, was very beneficial because, obviously McTominay, prior to the game, yesterday night, he missed the last 3 games, and you could say, he was a big miss in that midfield. Like I said, he's been a revelation this season because his performances have been very good. I still don't know if he's the long-term solution for Man United, but fair play to him again yesterday. He did control that midfield, and I thought he blended in very well alongside Fred. Obviously, recently, due to, McTominay's absence, we've had to go with a midfield of Andres Pereira and Fred, and obviously we do know that, it hasn't been really working out, but Solskjaer, did actually confirm that McTominay now is undroppable. Fred had a pretty decent game as well. Like I said, he's had a few decent games this season as Fred. He's also had some bad ones, but I would give Fred more time at the football club. He's only been here since the summer of 2018 as Fred. And I do agree on the aspect that we overpaid for him. We paid £50 million in from Shakhtar Donetsk last summer. But, I've got to say he's done really well. And he has a full Paul Pogba's position well as Fred. I also thought Lindelof had a really good game at the back. So I thought, definitely, everyone put a shift in. We also got bodies in decent positions. And, we need to see that every game. They're the type of performances, we need to put in, at every single game. But, before in the last 3 games before the game yesterday, as the performances were really poor. We was poor against Villa the weekend. We was poor against Astana in the Europa League for 80 minutes. We was poor against Sheffield United a couple of weeks ago. We had a good 10-minute spell against Sheffield United. But, it just shows with us beating Tottenham yesterday, that we are capable of beating anybody on that day. And even though, we have enjoyed our worst start to a Premier League season for 30 years, I know that even though we have, there's still some games this season and where we've played well. Obviously, we've also had some positive results. Don't forget, we drew with Liverpool early on in the season. We are the only team to take anything from Liverpool, don't forget, in the league, that is. We played well at Norwich away. We won 3-1. We played well against Brighton just before the international break. We played well in the Partizan Belgrade game in the second leg of the Europa League. So these games, where we have played quite well in this season. And I've got to admire as well Rashford because he's not only a good goal scorer, I think also his record against the top 6 sides is absolutely fantastic. But hopefully now this win against Tottenham, hopefully now it can, build more momentum and it can give us some confidence, going into the Man City game and on the Man City game on Saturday. Hopefully now it can do that. But I think it's a massive win for Man United and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and that. Jose Mourinho, that's obviously his first defeat as Tottenham manager. He gave his overarching view on the game, and Jose Mourinho was very honest. He come out and said, we were the dominant team for around 70 minutes. Maybe Tottenham had like a 15-20 minute spell, but prior to that, we was the dominant team. But like I said, I thought Tottenham, would have won that game or at least got a draw because I said, take into account, Tottenham have rejuvenated themselves recently since Jose Mourinho got recommended in. I still think he'll probably succeed at Tottenham. Like I said, he's a really, really good manager, is Jose Mourinho. He's got a good pedigree behind him. He's won 25 major honours so far in his managerial career. And, you know, Solskjaer actually did say in the press conference, that he would have got a good warm reception because obviously don't forget, we had Jose Mourinho for 2.5 years at Man United, and I presume, he probably would have got a good reception. I didn't really see it right at the beginning, but I presume, he would have done. But he did spend 2.5 years at Man United. He won the Europa League and the League Cup in his first season at the football club. But I did give you the variety of reasons why his managerial tenure didn't work out for him at Man United. Is because he had bad disputes with the board. He had bad disputes with the top players. The board weren't backing the signings that he wanted to recommend in to the football club last summer. So this is why his managerial tenure didn't work out. But you could arguably say he's been our best manager since the Ferguson era. And I think a lot of Man United fans will also agree, that it was a mistake getting rid of Jose Mourinho. And it was also very, very good as well what Solskjaer did at the end. At the final whistle to Mourinho, he did tap Jose Mourinho on the head. Obviously, Solskjaer is very delighted with the win because it is a very, very good win. Solskjaer tactically got it spot on as well, which is also very, very good news. So I've got to credit Ole Gunnar Solskjaer for that. And, we have, in certain games this season, we have showed tactical flexibility. I know in the vast majority of our games this season, we have been tactically naive. And I have criticised Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, when obviously, he has deserved to be criticised, but I can probably assure now, that Solskjaer, will be here at least until January, because I think that regarding the result yesterday, that's going to change quite a lot of things. But I think he could still be here by January. He could still be here at the end of the season. But I can still assure that he will not see out his 3-year contract at the football club. But, my perception is that, like I said, I still don't think, Solskjaer is the right man. Obviously, one result or a good couple of results are not going to change my perception regarding Solskjaer and that. He isn't the right man to elevate Manchester United forward. I still believe there will be a lot of Man United fans, demanding him out of the football club. But obviously, the likes of Ed Woodward and Solskjaer himself, their perceptions are totally comparison to mine, because Ed Woodward has recently come out and, he said he's still determined to stand by Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Obviously, it did come out saying that if our inconsistency does continue to persist, then Ed Woodward, may consider sacking him, but he's determined to stand by him by now. And Solskjaer himself feels as though he's the right man to elevate Man United forward. But, due to our inconsistency anywhere for the vast majority of this season, Solskjaer is, accountable for some of that. Obviously, not all of the blame stems from him. I think everyone's got to take responsibility. Like I said, the board, they've been a liability for several years. And I think, we need to get rid of our current board, to be quite honest with you. I think, we still need to get rid of Ed Woodward, in my opinion, even though Ed Woodward did recently assure Galactico signings at Man United for next year, that is. I still believe there's definitely more problematic players at the football club that do need to be moved on, definitely. So, we still need to see a variety of changes at Man United, definitely. But it's good that obviously, Solskjaer is making plans for January. It's not long now until the January transfer window opens. Gary Neville recently come out and he says, he's urged Solskjaer, to make at least 1 or 2 signings in January. It is very imperative next year. It's very imperative next year that we do address the deficiencies in the squad. Obviously, we've got to do that. Next year, we need to address that midfield, because that's one of the priority areas where Man United need to strengthen up. I think we need an attacking midfielder. We also need a defensive midfielder. we definitely need to recruit a replacement for Ander Herrera. We also need a couple of attackers. We need to recruit a replacement for Romelu Lukaku and Alexis Sanchez, because you can say since their departures for the vast majority of this season, we've looked very exposed in that attacking line, don't forget. Even though we've recently actually looked better in that attacking further in the pitch. Also, you can say we need a right winger. I think there's possibly other areas in the squad as well that do need to be addressed, but we've just got to do it next year. And it's very imperative next year as well that we do get the right calibre players to Manchester United, to elevate Man United forward. But yeah, and Solskjaer did actually say in his press conference prior to the Tottenham game that he's actually urged Ed Woodward and the board, to get transfers done quickly. So he wants transfers, done as soon as possible, when, January does come on the horizon. Because Solskjaer is aware that, there's still areas, where we are lacking. I think we need at least 5 to 6 more signings, maybe even more, if we are to be back to being a competitive elite level football club. If we are obviously, to be a future title contenders. That's my overarching view on that. Paul Scholes also recently came out, and he says that Solskjaer needs another 3 to 4 more transfer windows to turn fortunes around at Man United, but it is a long rebuilding process. Take into account though, the vast majority of this team isn't Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's. There's only 3 players that are Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's that he did recommend into the club during the summer. Obviously, we spent nearly £150 million on Daniel James and Wan-Bissaka and on Harry Maguire, and they've all enjoyed fantastic starts to their Manchester United careers. Like I said, they've you could say they've arguably been our best players, the 3 signs that were recommended in. They're not accountable for any of our bad results and performances this season and that. But, it was very, very good, that we did get 3 good signings in. And that's one of the aspects of me, that I do credit Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. But the vast majority of these players are Jose Mourinho's, because don't forget, Jose Mourinho recommended what 11 players into the football club. Now Solskjaer is still inheriting the vast majority of them. So you can still quite frankly say he is in the process of rebuilding this Manchester United team. Reports the other week emerged out, saying that we're going to get around £200 million to spend in January and next summer. So we're going to get £100 million in January. We're going to get £100 million next summer, which totals £200 million. But the question is, is £200 million enough to address all the deficiencies in the squad? Is it enough for us, to bring the right number of players in? We shall see. I think it's just basically, all dependent on, how we are with our recruitment. Basically, are we going to be sensible with it? Are we going to overpay for players? That is the question. I know we've overpaid for players in recent years and that. But we have got a lot of players anyway on our agenda, who we could recommend in to the football club next year. Solskjaer, I think, still does want to continue the policy of recruiting young players, like he did do during the summer. We've already got a lot of young players in the squad that are developing and trying to improve at this present time, but he obviously wants to recommend more in, and in that aspect he does replicate Alex Ferguson, because Ferguson did develop a lot of young players. He also controlled the transfer policies and stuff like that, and the contracts and stuff. But we'll see who we can, of course, get in next year. I think we need to make at least 2 signings in January, but that's definitely something that's going to improve our recruitment, definitely. It's got to improve. But, so, like I said to you guys, I said, didn't I, at the start of this season that I didn't expect us, to win the league this season, because obviously, we're not good enough to win the league at the moment. We're not even good enough to mount any kind of title challenge up. But I did say at the start of this season, I expected us to enjoy a better season this season than what we saw last season, because obviously, last season was a huge disappointment. But, like I said to you on a regular basis, quite recently as well, Solskjaer is inheriting a good squad. We have got a lot of good players in our team, and we should have, reflect on the amount of money that's been invested into the football club in the last 6 or 7 years. So a lot of money has been invested on players, since the Alex Ferguson era. I think it's around 600, 700 odd million pounds that's been spent. We haven't only spent big on players, we've also, got players on big contracts. So we're still, you can say, not in the commanding position, that we should be in, because at minimum, we should be going for that top four. And, I'm very, very sceptical about us, getting that top four. We still do remain 8 points behind the top four. But, I wouldn't fully disregard it. I did say at the start of this season anyway that our expectations will be that top four. So obviously, we can get Champions League football. But I think our aspirations will be that top four in the next couple of seasons anyway, to create a platform and give us something to build on and stuff like that. But yeah, and I did say, didn't I, think our only route to Champions League football this season is progressing in the Europa League. And I've got to say, I think we're definitely good enough to win the Europa League. We are already into the knockout stages of the competition. We were in the knockout stages after 4 games. Obviously we've played 5 now. There's one game remaining in the Europa League. But I do believe, where we are good enough to win it. And it would be good if we could win the Europa League. We did it back under the Jose Mourinho era in 2017. I know we lost the game against Astana, but obviously, that was meaningless. It didn't mean anything. Obviously, Solskjaer, went with all the young ones in that game mainly. Obviously, recommended around 14 teenagers to Kazakhstan. That was last week. So the vast majority of them were youngs. There was only 4 senior players, that played against FC Astana, and Solskjaer in total handed 7 debuts in that game. So it didn't really matter. I know we lost the game, but it didn't really matter. We have got Alkmaar coming up after Man City. It is our final game in the group stages of the Europa League, but I do believe definitely we are good enough to win it. But like I said, my overarching view on Solskjaer is that I still think he needs to go. There has been quite a few managers on our agenda, who could replace him at the football club. But, maybe us getting rid of him now especially, wouldn't solve any or not a lot of problems at Manchester United, because not all of the blame stems from him. Obviously, some of it does. But I think that win against Tottenham yesterday now is going to, change quite a lot of things. And, maybe if we'd have lost to Tottenham yesterday, I can assure, like I said earlier on the video, he would have been gone by next week. Solskjaer does not fear the sack. He did say actually after the Villa game, he was not concerned regarding our league position. But he did actually, allegedly, he did say to our players before the Tottenham game, if we'd lost yesterday and we lose to Man City at the weekend, that he will be sacked by the football club. So he has been aware of the pressure he has been under. But Solskjaer in total, has been at Man United now, for nearly a year. So he's nearly been here 12 months. Obviously, he's been permanent manager now for almost 9 months as Solskjaer. Obviously, you can say for the vast majority of that 9-month period, he's enjoyed a very, very difficult time in comparison to the time, when he was the interim manager. Because, we did really, really well in that 3-month period when he was the interim manager. And obviously, my perceptions were different then regarding Solskjaer, But there isn't many games, that we've dominated, if any, really, especially, under the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era. There's the odd couple of games where we've dominated in that, but, the vast majority of the games, we have been very, very poor. Solskjaer is on around £7.5 million a year, by the way, and obviously if we do sack him anywhere within these 3 years, obviously it's going to cost the club a substantial amount to get rid of him. I don't think we'd have to pay as much, obviously, as we did do to get rid of Jose Mourinho, because we give him a huge payoff. I think we paid, was it Jose Mourinho, over £20 million to obviously now get rid of him. But I think Solskjaer will be staying at least until January. So that result has changed quite a lot of things. It's changed the stance on Solskjaer basically. But I do love him a lot either way. I don't think his managerial tenure is going to work out for him at Man United and that, but I still love him either way. We'll never forget what Solskjaer has done for the football club. He was a great long-serving player for 11 years. He flourished under Alex Ferguson's guidance, and one of his most iconic moments as a player, was in 1999. Of course, when he did win the club the treble. Obviously, it is one of the club's greatest achievements, and one of his most iconic moments as manager was obviously that PSG game last season when we did produce that miraculous comeback. We overcome a 2-goal deficit and won the second leg by 3-1. But we'll never forget what he's done for the football club and that. And I'll say this, if he does get sacked, I will be saying all of this and that. But we haven't really, got the structure to keep sacking managers because, like I said, 3 managers have already been sacked since the Alex Ferguson era. David Moyes got sacked after 10 months. He was sacked after 10 months with David Moyes. He only enjoyed a really short tenure with the football club. And that was one mistake. And the only mistake Alex Ferguson made was recommending David Moyes in. Then obviously after Moyes left, we got Van Gaal, he left just after a year, despite the fact he won the FA Cup. Obviously, his philosophy wasn't right for the club. And obviously, Jose Mourinho, got sacked after 2.5 years and that. So we haven't, really got the structure to keep sacking managers. But for me, Solskjaer's just not got a pedigree behind him, and that's an element of concern. He hasn't really got any intuition on how to manage, especially a big football club like Man United. And like I've said on my recent videos, I think the expectations are too high for him at this club. Obviously before he was at Man United, he was at Mould. He won a couple of Norwegian titles with Mould. And before he was at Mould, he enjoyed a really short tenure with Cardiff. He only managed around 28 or 29 games for Cardiff. Because he ended up getting them relegated, and of course he ended up getting the sack. And some Man United fans did fear earlier on in the season, that he could replicate Man United what he did do with Cardiff. But I still believe that we could finish in the top 7 or top 8 this season. But I don't, think we're gonna finish in the top 4. But like I said, guys, another thing I do credit Solskjaer for. And, he's got a lot of trustworthy in his young upcoming players, like I've said on numerous occasions. He did assure at the start of this season, did Solskjaer anyway, that the young players, will get given their chances this season. They have been given their chances. But like I said on my recent videos, and I said earlier on this video, I can assure that the likes of Mason Greenwood, Brandon Williams, Tuan Zebe, James Garner perhaps, I think they'll all become successes at the football club. Don't get me wrong, I've got some element of concerns about some of the young upcoming players, and this is why I did say, it would be beneficial if we did get rid of some of them next year, and that would be a good business. I think maybe we need to get rid of the likes of Chong, Angel Gomez, also Andres Pereira, because a lot of Man United fans do feel now that Andres Pereira is finished at the football club. But he's got a lot of trustworthy in his young upcoming players. So I credit him for that. But like I said, we've still got players set to come back from injury. Bay's obviously out with a knee injury. He's back in training now. Fossil Mensu's back in training. He's been out with a knee injury. Daygod Lott's been out with a leg injury. He's back in training. Rojo's still out with a muscle problem. Matic is back in training, but he's been out with a minor problem. Surprised, he didn't play yesterday. But yeah, I'm going to actually, as well, give you some more news regarding Paul Pogba, by the way. I think, he should be back for the weekend against Man City, should Paul Pogba. I know there was rumours emerging out last week saying that Paul Pogba, could have been back for the game against Tottenham, but obviously, had to be. So Paul Pogba, of course, didn't get that reunion with Jose Mourinho, but he should be back, for the game against Manchester City. Solskjaer, obviously, recently praised Paul Pogba. He has defended his professionalism, but he did say, I think last week, Solskjaer, that, Paul Pogba, is stepping up his recovery. And he did say, we will see, let's see how soon, he will be match fit and available. Paul Pogba has had an ongoing ankle injury that's been surrounding the player for a matter of weeks, or should I say a matter of months. The last league game he played was Arsenal in the 1-1 draw. That was early on the season. That was actually, back in September. So Paul Pogba has not played since September. You can say he's been a big miss in that midfield, definitely. I know he's been mainly inconsistent at Man United, in comparison to his time in Turin, because he did endure 4 good years with Juventus, but the vast majority of his performances at Man United have been, totally a comparison. We mainly saw the best of Paul Pogba in that 3-month period when Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was the interim manager, but yeah, he has had an ankle injury. It confirmed quite a few weeks back that Paul Pogba had travelled to Amsterdam to have his ankle cast removed, so that indicated out then he's close to recovering from injury, but we still know the difference he does make in that midfield. And Solskjaer did confirm it will be like a world-class signing, when he does make his return from injury. I still believe Paul Pogba wants out of the football club, definitely. He's confirmed this recently, and he also, for the entirety of the summer, wanted to leave Man United, because he revealed it at the beginning of the summer that he wanted to leave because obviously, he was seeking for a new challenge, and publicly admitted that he wanted to leave the football club. And for the entirety of the summer, he was relentlessly linked to a move to Real Madrid. Obviously, there was talks about him making a return back to Turin in that. But his preference was Real Madrid, and I think he's got the same preference now, because he's still orchestrating on making a move to Real Madrid next year. I do believe Paul Pogba's going to go in January. If he doesn't go in January, he will go next summer. Obviously, we'll get over £100 million from him, I should presume, so we'll generate a substantial amount for his departure. But, I don't really want him to go. But regardless of whether he stays or goes anywhere, either way, we've still got to address that midfield, definitely. And Paul Pogba's still got, 2 years left on his contract at Man United, with an option to extend it by a further year. And he's not only one of the highest paid players at the club on £290,000 a week, he's also our most expensive signing, because we paid, £89 million for him. I think Real Madrid, despite the fact they spent quite a bit of money during the summer, they spent, £300 million recruiting new players, and they did sell some players, so they did generate some of the money back. They're willing to, get rid of a couple more players. I think they're willing to offer 1 or 2 of their players as part of a deal, to get Paul Pogba in. Recent reports have said Real Madrid are willing to offer, around £42 million for, Paul Pogba, and willing to offer 1 of their players. But I still believe, he will end up leaving the football club, definitely. Like I said, Martial, I confirmed to you prior to the game yesterday, he's now out with injury, and that's very, very bad to see, really, because, he is going to be a big miss. Martial, initially, was out with a hamstring injury, so he did miss a couple of months. So in the vast majority of early on in the season, in the early period, he missed the vast majority of that, period, did Anthony Martial, with injury. And he's been back from that hamstring injury, since the Liverpool game, and now he's currently struggling to overcome a muscular problem. And like I said, since Martial initially came back into the team, you can say he's added more inspiration in that attacking third in the pitch. Because I do believe, Martial helps the likes of Daniel James and Marcus Rashford and that. Martial now is into his 5th season at Man United. You know, he has scored, 53 goals in 186 appearances in total, you know, since his arrival from Monaco back in 2015. But in the games Martial has played in this season, you know, he's replicating, you know, what he did in his first season when he first came in. Because, you know, we did get Martial back under the Louis van Gaal era. But I think he's done, you know, really, really well. We got him as a 19-year-old, by the way. Of course, he's now 23, you know, and all that. He did sign a 5-year contract back in January. Martial does predominantly, you know, play out wide, but like I said, he's more effective in that central position. Is Anthony Martial, you know, so I think he's definitely more effective in that number 9 role. Yeah. But yeah, so I don't know how, you know, severe the injury is with Anthony Martial. Obviously, you know, Solskjaer building up to the Man City game, you know, will provide us with an update regarding Anthony Martial. But reflects on the amount of injuries we've had this season anywhere, you know, Solskjaer has had to make alterations in the squad. Luke Shaw, don't forget, he's recently come back from injury. You know, he was initially out with a hamstring injury for a very long time. Since he's come back, he's made a couple of substitute appearances. He came on yesterday. He came on against Villa. He played the full 90 minutes, don't forget, against FC Astana. Did Luke Shaw. I don't think he's no longer our first choice left back now. You know, with Brandon Williams now, I think he's our first choice left back. Well, Solskjaer views Brandon Williams as his first choice left back. But he's got to credit Brandon Williams because I think, you know, he's done really, really well. He's a better solution than Luke Shaw. He's a much better solution than Young. But we've got a variety of fullbacks anywhere that can compete. I think, you know, Tuanzebe has done well in the games he's played in this season. He's also just come back from injury, you know, because also, you know, he was out with a hip injury, you know, was Alex Tuanzebe. So it's good, you know, more players are coming back from injury. But like I said, so I think we're capable of beating Manchester City the weekend, definitely. You know, if we can replicate a performance what we did yesterday against Tottenham, then I think we're capable of beating Man City. And I am aware that Man City are strides ahead of us at the moment, and, you know, they've got really, really good players. Pep Guardiola is regarded as one of the best managers in the world. You know, he's got a fantastic pedigree behind him. And Man City, you know, he's basically, you know, emulating, you know, the football, you know, what he did at the likes of Barcelona and Bayern Munich. You know, you know, he spent a substantial amount at Man City, obviously, on recruiting new players and that. But they have got on a really, really good team. You know, obviously, you know, Man City have won, you know, back-to-back titles. So they're looking to win their third, you know, title in a row. I'm very, very sceptical about that happening, you know, this season because, you know, Liverpool, I think, are going to win it. You know, the Liverpool looking very, very comfortable. I think they've unbeaten now in 30-odd games by the way Liverpool in total. You know, they've won 14 out of 15 this season, and they've got a comfortable lead at the top. You know, I think they're around 8 points clear. So I think it's going to be Liverpool's season. This season, it's good. Obviously, if they win it this season, it will be their first ever Premier League title because, you know, they haven't won it all in all for 3 decades, is it? But yeah, but City, I think, have won about 3 Premier Leagues now in total, or is it 4 Premier Leagues they've won? Don't forget they are the only Premier League club to register 100 points. You know, they did do that a couple of years ago, but it's going to be a very, very difficult game. You know, but I think, you know, we're capable of getting something from them, you know, if we can put a good performance out. But City have already lost 3 games this season, you know, and they've drawn quite a few. You know, they dropped points away to Norwich, they lost 3-2. They dropped points at home to Wolves. They lost 2-0. You know, they dropped points at the weekend against Newcastle. Obviously, you know, they reacted well to that draw because, you know, they did beat Burnley by 4-1. You know, yeah, they got thrashed at Liverpool 3-1. So definitely, you know, Manchester City are beatable, definitely. But, you know, it's a game, obviously, now we've got to win anywhere against Man City and that. There will be more videos coming up today, guys. I'll probably maybe doing 1 or 2 more. Probably more. I'll be doing 1 more than that. But we'll see. So anyway, guys, drop me comments, likes below on the channel. If you do consider a subscribe, as always, and tell me, what you think, to yesterday's game. I want to know in your comments below. And take care, God bless, and I'll see you all again very, very soon. Thanks for watching.